Welcome to Edge of the Rabbit Hole. Tonight we welcome back Chuck Banks, psychic medium and author, talking about haunted houses versus haunted people and a whole lot more. Coming up next. An author talking about haunted houses versus haunted people and a whole lot more. Coming up next. All right, so here we go. Edge of the Rabbit Hole. Welcome. I'm Mike Ricksecker, author and ghost story, and with me as always is Vanessa Hogel, my co-hostess, and our chat shenanigator, Shauna, down in the chat room. We do not have our Cheshire cat, Donna, in the house this evening. Unfortunately, she's hurt herself, so she's taking the night off, and we'll put some positive vibes out there for her this evening. We also want to announce that we just hit 1 million views here on the Haunted Road Media YouTube channel, which is awesome. Thank you guys for watching so much of our content, and we're getting ever so closer to 9,000 subscribers. So I think we're on track to hit that by our next episode, and if we do so, we'll go ahead and run a giveaway. Also want to throw out there, Andrew Cox, just before the show, threw down a $50 super chat. That is insane, Andrew. He says,
that is. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. He says, making up for the last few shows in super chats, and I didn't make peace, light, and love. Thank you very much, Andrew. And peace, light, and love back to you. All right. And Shauna's experiencing buffering, which is lousy. Hopefully that's only on her end and not everybody else's.
I'm actually doing better now.
Good, good. All right.
Hey, here. This is for the buffering. Damn it!
Well, last week we had to deal with an entire YouTube outage. So Pakistan killed us apparently. So Chuck, I don't know what you were doing in Pakistan, but it took us down.
Oh, it was one of those things where I took that phone call. Hello, Microsoft calling. I call it extra Windows on your computer.
I can't even. I can't.
Oh, wait, crazy.
Don't do it again, Chucky. Don't do it again.
That's one freebie. That's all you get.
Yeah.
But it is funny, and a couple of others are saying it's buffering and it comes and goes.
I see that,
and I apologize. I have that effect on people. People start, I start buffering in front of people, and they're like, "I'm not going to talk to that crazy bastard." It's one of those things.
That's right.
Well, you know what that could be, residual from your domain.
Could be.
Could be.
You know, it's interesting. The topic tonight is something that I think a lot of people discuss, but how many people have the opportunity to talk about truly haunted individuals, and whether it's haunted individuals, whether it's haunted locations. I think that
the haunted internet.
Yes.
You go.
There you go.
The buffered internet. It's all buffered. It's crazy.
My internet's buff over here.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those things. I just like the idea that we're able to get, I'm able to get a little of attention tonight, though, being on your show, right?
Of course.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Of course. But Chuck, my main Chuck. Okay, but you're right, though. I know so many people say that only places can be haunted, that not people. And I am going to go ahead and state right here for God, Goddess, and everybody else to see, oh, motherfucker, yes, they can. Because I have been for many, 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 many moons, where what I have around me and what I have involved with me doesn't have anything to do with the location I'm at. Now, when I go to a location that is haunted, obviously I'm affected by that. But my apartment isn't haunted. I am. And I know that because it's been these same entities or spirits that have followed me from place to place. Now, what are your views on that?
I tend to agree. I have lived 3 different locations in the past 15 years. and all three locations, we've experienced something. And actually, it's four. If you count the time that I spent with my mom, shortly after my dad passed away, and I was kind of the caretaker, for the family, which that's kind of been my role, throughout my entire life as the caretaker. Basically putting Band-Aids on stuff and fixing it. But I will tell you that it's crazy, Vanessa. To think about how many different places that I've lived and the activity that's sparked. And if you look at this place, it appears that since I turned 40 years old, that I've become even more haunted, which is sometimes it's an ugly bear, cross to bear, when I look at it. But yeah, I absolutely believe that that people can be haunted, and also it's amazing when people invite you in particularly to an event, because sometimes you can spark up that haunting energy within those haunted locations.
Well, and the thing is it doesn't have, and many people will say, well, you're not haunted if it's a family member. Okay, well, that's tomatoes, potatoes, patatas, whatever. But only one of mine is a family member. The other is not, and is not nice, and had a great deal of power over me until I wrote my last book and released that. So there are so many levels and layers to how all this actually works. We don't even know. And I'm so tired of people being so black and white with it. You know? It's a big fucking shade of gray, people.
Yeah, and I know I don't know, but I assume that Mike would agree that that right now, if you feel that there's a black and white, and that you're truly have all the answers, then by George, you probably should have already ascended into the heavens and be,
No, there's a huge gray area in everything that we do, and to me, it's aggravating when people try to say it's yes, it's this way, no, it's that way, straight up, no room to budge whatsoever. And I just think that's obtuse. So, I mean, you have to be open-minded, especially when you're talking about, the paranormal, things that are spiritual in nature and what have you, because there's so much out there that we just don't know. So,
well, and Chuck, correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I'm gonna hop out there. I think it boils down to one major thing, and that's that people desperately seek validation, and they feel you can only get validation through black and white, yes and no, good and bad. And that is so unbelievably wrong. If you have an experience, Chuck, you don't need another soul on the planet to validate it. Mike, if you do, it's your experience. You don't need anyone to say you had it.
Right.
I sure as fuck don't need anyone to say I have it, nor do they need to rely on me validating their experience. An experience is just that, specific to the individual. And we need to remember that.
Well, Chuck, let me ask you this, because you're right. It's specific to the individual. But when we're doing things like paranormal investigations, I think it's always nice to have that validation from another person, because when you're coming back and you're trying to say, hey, these different things happened, it's kind of nice to have that backup. What do you think, Chuck?
Yeah, and I totally agree. It is nice to be validated, in certain regards, and that's why, when I go off with Short Bus Paranormal, I have to give them a special shout out, Nick and Sue. I'm a part of their team now, but when I go out with them, or I go out with the different groups, we utilize those EVP recorders, different things, and I'm totally open, to interpretation. But I also do my own thing. I do my walkthrough or whatever, kind of like Vanessa does, and anytime that you can be validated, or at the very least learn something that it could possibly be, I think you're truly growing. That's why I got into the paranormal. I got into the paranormal and podcasting. And, I wrote to share my story, but I got into the paranormal to try to get with some like-minded individuals and people that are, going to call a spade for a spade and tell you exactly what's going on. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So that constant learning.
Well, the learning is wonderful and validation is wonderful, but but if somebody can't validate your experience, it doesn't negate you having it.
Yeah.
That's my point. You know, it doesn't negate your experience. It's nice if someone can say, yeah, I felt the same thing, or yeah, I heard the same thing. But if they didn't, it doesn't mean you didn't.
Yeah, guys, I've had people message me and say that that there's no activity going on in your basement, and I'm always nice, you know what I mean, in regards to that. But I know with my experiences, it's not just the basement. You know, it's my place of work, it's my car, it's out into a green field, you know what I mean, and something were to take place. It's not just that. And I think that a lot of times people become, too closed-minded with that black and white mentality, I guess.
I don't think it's just a closed-mindedness. I think it's the necessity to be right. Everybody, well, not everybody, but quite a few people out there want to be the one that has all the answers. And that's never going to be any of us.
Well, yeah, and that's